Hi there and welcome back. This is the final video in this particular initial router configuration section, and in this video I'm going to show you how to lock down Telnet to an access list essentially. Previously we'd set Telnet to be available on the router, and as you can see we could connect perfectly fine from Vancouver. However, we also need to apply an access list to make that a little bit more secure. As I say, previously Telnet is a clear text protocol and there's no way in real world sort of situation that you would want that open to the world. So we're going to apply an access list. I'm not going to go into too much detail with access list because we're going to do that further on in the series, but in this instance I'd already showed you how to enable Telnet, and because it's such an insecure protocol I wanted you to see some kind of security based stuff around it in terms of setting up an access list. So let's open up GNS3 and we'll grab console on the Toronto router. Enter my password, my console password, and my enable password, and we'll go into configuration mode. And we need to set up a new access list, so we'll go to the command is IP access list, and then we can set up either as an extended or standard access list. In this case we're going to do standard. With extended you can be a little bit more granular. You can specify things like the incoming port, rather than just filtering by IP address. You can actually filter by socket or port and various other things. In this case we just need a standard access list. So as you can see, this denotes that we're actually under the access list itself. I've called it access list 10. You can use a name instead of a number. I generally use numbers, but you can do either. So if I just hit question mark, you'll see a number of options here. I can specify something called the sequence, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to show you the really basic way of setting up an access list, and then we'll go into greater detail when we come back later in the series to access lists. So in this case I'm just going to do permit, and then the host name or address to match. We're going to do it by address. I will show you which network we're going to do first. We're going to do 10.1.0.0. So permit 10.1.0.0. Hit the question mark, and then we need to do something called a wildcard mask. In this case, I really don't want to go into too much detail, but this wildcard mask, the zeros essentially match each octet here. So 0 would match 10, so anything from 10.1.0, and the 255 means anything. So anything that's 10.1.0. anything will be able to connect via Telnet to this router. We'll not put any logging, we'll just do it as simple as possible. And we will now do it for the other networks requested also. 1 second. So we have 192.168.0.0 and 192.168.2.0. Permits 192.168.0.0. And we'll do the same for 2.0. Now explicitly on the end of each access list there is a deny statement which will deny all traffic. We can add it, just know that it's there anyway by default, but it's nice to add it, I think. So deny any source, and you could log that actually. Probably a good thing to do. So the access list 10 has been created now. Now we need to go into the VTY lines. Sorry. And actually apply this access list. So access class is the command. If I hit question mark, I will see I can denote either the access list name, which I haven't set, can't get my words out today, or the access list number, which I did set as 10. And then I need to set the direction. So in this case it's filtering incoming connections. So I'm on the Toronto router and I want to filter incoming Telnet connections, or incoming connections of any kind really, to this router and I'm going to use this access list to do so. So I'm going to do it in access class 10 in, and the access list itself is now applied to the router. Hard for me to really show you that, perhaps. Let me see what I can do. 1 second. We'll just verify that Vancouver can actually telnet to the Toronto router. My computer's just locked up a second. 1 sec. There we go. Now let's see if we can just telnet over to Toronto. 10.1.2.2. Connection refused. Okay. Maybe I haven't got my access list quite right. Oops. 1 second. 10.1.1. Ha. Okay. I think I made a mistake, but you can actually see on the attempt there, me trying to actually telnet to that router, that it was denied, and the reason it was denied is because I didn't get my access list quite right, which is actually a good thing in this case. So we'll go back, and we'll go into configuration mode. Let's have a look. Show IP access list 10. This is going to become an access list tutorial this late, but you can see the access list, it has a series of numbers, 10, 20, 30, 40, that's the position. So basically, if I'm going to create a new entry, which I'm going to do now, IP access list 10, oops, standard 10, and I need to put something in here to allow this particular network. I did 10.1.0.0, dot anything. 10.1.0.anything. I need to do 10.1.1.anything. So what I'm going to do is hit question mark, put my sequence number, I'll make it 5 to put it right at the top, and then permit, and then the host name is 10.1.1.0, and I have to get this right also. Sorry, it's a wildcard mask. They never do go perfectly well, these videos. There's always something that caches me out, so we'll not log it. So now I've added an extra entry to the access list. Show IP access list 10. As you can see right at the top there, there's a permit statement for 10.1.1.anything, basically. So now if I go back again to the Vancouver router, I should, this time around, be able to telnet to that router. There we go. Cisco as the password, and Cisco again, and now we're on the Toronto router. So you did inadvertently see exactly what happens if you try and connect to that router from a network that's not allowed. I added the network a second time around and it actually worked. So I'm not going to redo this video or anything like that. It's good to see mistakes when they happen, and get to see things that happen that are unintended, so that way we can show you how we troubleshoot and fix them. So in this case, I'm considering this initial router configuration done, and thank you for watching. Any questions, give me a shout. You can always re-watch the videos if you're unsure. You might want to re-watch this one because I've made a couple of mistakes, but I've managed to fix them. So yep, give me a shout. Hope you enjoyed this initial router configuration, and I look forward to seeing you on the next lab.